Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more buckshot testing, and today we've got a combo out here that I have some decently high hopes for. This setup and choke has given us a number of really nice results with previous shells like this that we've tested, and the shells we've got have been consistently getting a little better and a little better with each choke we try. So this combo, I'm thinking, should work out rather nicely. But as for the shells we've got to run, I brought out some of the Remington Express buckshot loads, but these are a 12 gauge 2 3/4 inch 27 pellet 4-buck load, moving about 1325 feet per second. We've tested these several times on the channel now through a standard full choke and an aftermarket choke or two, and like I just mentioned, we've been working on getting them dialed in. We're definitely improving, so we'll see what they can give us through today's combo. But as for that setup, I brought out the Mossberg 835 Ulti-Mag. This one's got a 28 inch barrel on it, but for that choke we've got a Kicks Gobblin Thunder 680 constriction in here. Now yes, technically this is a turkey choke. These Mossberg 835s are overboard to a 10 gauge bore diameter inside, so 680 is absolutely a turkey choke. However, I have found this to be pretty nice performing, especially when it comes to 4-buck shells. 4-buck loads seem to really like the 680 to 690 constriction range. We've seen a number of really good results with that combination in this choke before, so we'll see what these Remington 4-buck loads can give us, because in theory, and going based on previous experience, I'm thinking we should be able to see a pretty decent pattern out of it. But as for today's test, everything is set up the same as usual. I've got the big sheet of paper down there at 40 yards, chronograph so we can get our velocity, and the templates that we can lay up over our results. So let's get you guys a view of that target and see what the Remington Express 4-buck loads can actually do through this Kicks 680. I've got decent hopes for it, but let's take our shot and see what we get. Alright, so that shell gave us 1386 through the chrono. Boss claim is 1325, so we are a little bit above that. However, that is about what we've been seeing, is 1360s, 1370s or so out of these shells. So it's nothing out of the usual, and that's more than enough for a 4-buck load. So let's go check it out and see how it actually patterned. Alright, so now we're down here at our 40-yard paper, and what we see here is a pretty interesting result. Now for reference, the white dot was the point of aim. The paper's 36 inches wide by about 44 inches tall. And we have a total of 25 pellets here on the paper. Those are supposed to be a 27 pellet load. And yeah, I know we were a touch off to the left on this one, but I'm not seeing anything that touched the edges around here. I'm not seeing any new indents in the wood pallet or anything either. So unless those couple missing pellets were way off the side, I think we have the full load here on the paper. These shells so far in our testing, all 3 times I believe it is now that we've tried them, they've always given us 30 pellets in the shell instead of 27. So if we had 25 pellets in the shell, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me. They've been incorrect so far based on the box claim and what's actually in the shell. So I'm thinking we probably only had 25 pellets in this particular shell in the first place. We've got a decent core going on here right around that white dot. Definitely a nice little hot zone of pellets right there. We did string a couple of them down a little low, as well as a few flyers up here around the top, but that in general has been about the look of the pattern that we've been getting here recently with these loads. It's definitely tighter than it would be through a full choke, but it is not as good as some of the other 4-buck loads we've tested through that exact same choke. I did measure the farthest 2 points across, which is kind of diagonal from that bottom left corner to that very top pellet, and that's right at 25 inches worth of spread. Obviously our core area there is smaller than that, and overall this isn't a terrible pattern. It's absolutely usable, but I don't think it's quite the best we've seen from these shells so far either. It's a little bit odd and a little inconsistent. Several little strings and areas around there that I'd like to see tuned in a little bit. So not perfect, but it's not horrible. But let's throw a few templates up and see how it actually performed a little bit better than just the blank sheet of paper. So first up here is our 10-inch circle, and when we line it up with where the core of the pattern actually was, we had 11 pellets in a 10-inch circle at 40 yards. That's not bad, and it is a pretty even spread throughout the core as well. Really, the bottom there in the middle is about the only kind of void you really get in there. The rest is pretty even. So a solid core, but how does it look in an actual hunting scenario? Let's throw a few animal templates up and take a look at that. So here's our deer template now, and when we roughly line it up with our point of aim, we would have absolutely covered that deer in pellets. There's no doubt about that. I know not everybody uses 4-buck for deer hunting, but within its respective ranges, say 40 yards, maybe 50 yards and in the right scenario, it's more than capable of getting the job done. And when you're covering them with that many pellets, that deer is going to go down. So maybe not the most perfectly even spread of pellets through the vitals there, but it is still more than usable. But now let's throw the hog template up, which will give us another point of reference for a little bit smaller body sized animal as well. So here's that hog template, and it's pretty much the same story as the deer. Good enough for taking a pig with it all day long, but it also gives us a little closer reference to a coyote or something. They would be just a touch smaller than this hog template is, and you would still absolutely cover them in pellets too. So although it's not the most even spread of pellets, that would still be pretty nasty coyote medicine out to that 40 to 50 yard range. You're going to drop them with that combination. So overall here today, I was hoping for a little bit better out of it. I know we've seen better patterns from 4-buck through that particular Kicks 680, so I thought this combination might perform a touch better, but I don't think we have found the perfect choke for it just yet. I've got a couple others in mind that we can try, and I think we can still continue to dial these in a little. But for a Remington shell that has no wad and is not plated, it's just a straight up buffered load of buckshot, this isn't bad. It's absolutely usable, although not 100% perfect either, but I'm still hopeful we can get a little bit more out of it as soon as we find that right combination for them. So not horrible, it's good enough today, but I was kind of hoping, or at least thinking, we could potentially have seen a little bit better than this as well, or at least a little bit more even of a pattern. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about that result right there? I think we've pretty well covered it. It's an okay pattern. It's plenty usable enough, but it's not the perfect combination just yet for this load. As far as the shape of the pattern goes, that's kind of been what we've seen from them so far. A decent core with a little bit of stringy stuff around the edges. But I don't think we found the perfect choke combo for them yet either. Maybe that's something like the Pattern Master Black Mama 690 or even the Trulock Boar Blaster. We have not tried those two chokes yet, but one of those could very well be the ticket. So I don't know. I was hoping to see a touch better out of it, but it didn't do anything that super surprised me either necessarily. So I guess leave all your thoughts down below. Is it about what you expected? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you ever tested any of these Remington 4-buck loads? And if so, what kind of results have you seen from them? Is this a pattern or a combination you would ever hunt with? And if so, what kind of stuff would you use it for? Or what kind of ranges would you keep it at? And what other chokes do you want to see us run that shell through that you think might be a good performer? Let me know all that down below. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, we have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All the information will be in the description if you're interested in it, but I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.